Why you want to become an OS officer?
Sir, actually, to come into the bureaucracy was not in my original ideas. When I was in the final year of my graduation, I developed a little inclination towards public service. Then after, when I was in I was doing my master's at IIT, I came in contact with some of the personalities who were already serving in state public services and central civil services. So they actually, after hearing that what this platform offers as an opportunity, I found my real preferences. That's why I decided to switch my career.
Okay. Okay, Antim. You have done your master's degree in which subject?
So in mineral processing.
Sorry?
So mineral processing from Indian Institute of Technology, Dhanbad.
Okay, IIT. Oh, great. You are an IIT. Antim, Government of India has spent a huge amount of money by giving you BTech degree in the most prestigious institution of the country, IIT. And right now, you are preparing for Odisha Administrative Service. Don't you think that you have wasted the money of the government because you did your degree in IIT and right now you are not interested for your own but parent subject, you are interested to go to administration. I think it's simply the wastage of the money of the government of India. It's also wastage of our money because we are very sincerely paying the tax to the government.
Yes, sir. What you are saying is actually one of the perspectives of my actions. But sir, I believe I believe that there is a saying like education is what remains in you when everything academically taught is forgotten. So I believe that will not be exactly a wastage of my abilities because the scientific domain made me a rational person, a factual person who can look at the perspective from a scientific outlook. But after reading humanities, I inculcated some of the value aspects in my temperaments and thinking process. So coming from a technical background, from technocracy to bureaucracy, my journey will be an interdisciplinary approach, and that will serve a larger public interest.
Political science and international relations. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Antim, can you tell me how Indian approach of secularism is different from Western approach of secularism?
Yes, sir. Sir, Indian approach of secularism is a principle-distant model, whereas Western secularism is an equidistant model. If we look at the scenario of the Indian setup, India is a diversified country and people are more closer to religion and their God. So by completely watertight compartmentalization between their value system and their nationality, the state approach may prove detrimental to a larger public interest. That's why we have adopted such an approach where giving everybody an equal rights about the religion, that means actually we are nullifying those aspects of religion which are negative to us because we are not considering any one religion as to be superior, rather every religion is superior. In that way, we are approaching a different approach than the global order.
Okay, Antim, what I see in this process of interviewing you is that backside of you is pasted map of India. Okay, I see.
Yes, sir.
On the wall, map of India is pasted. You see, yes, the present establishment of India, headed by Mr. Modi, wants to make Akhand Bharat, including Afghanistan and Pakistan. Even the Rashtriya Swain Sevak Sangh is also giving a slogan for Akhand Bharat, unified India, including Pakistan and Afghanistan. Do you think it's practically possible?
Sir, I believe it's a nationalistic approach of delivering the political statements, but I will not going into the political indoctrinations and something else. I believe India is a very large and diverse culture. We derive our civilizational values from ancient world, from Harappan civilization. And some of the states, which after the formation of nation states, they just separated by us through a means of any boundary or agreement. But by heart, we all are equal. So maybe the interpretations of our Honorable Prime Minister is nothing, any kind of military approach or anything else. Rather, it should segregate our cultural values to such an extent that we, as a South Asian country, will collectively say, yes, we are global South, we are Indians, or we are the neighbors of Indians, and we are a universal citizenship based upon the values of humanity.
Okay, Antim,
Yes.
if you become an OS officer, how your knowledge of BTech would help you in matter of administering the places where you are posted?
Sir, I derive the inspiration from the positivistic theory of Durkheim, where he has says that every social action has a cause and effect relationship. That philosophy is basically inculcated in science also. Science always looks at the aspect from a not exactly from a dichotomous approach, but is a cause and effect relationship. Sometimes by looking at the social phenomena, there is a greater need of such an approach because value neutrality is one of the major aspects of humanity. So in this aspect, being a student from science and humanities, those who are academically taught, that might be not directly applicable to my situations, but that sense will be in me so that I can look at the policy making in a more holistic, scientific, objective, also value-centric way.
Okay, Antim, you are wearing necktie and blazer. Do you feel comfortable with this attire?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, Antim. You know, you are wearing all these things because of the impact of Western countries. Particularly, we say in sociology, it's a process of Westernization. Okay. But in our country, many people are blindly following the Western tradition. Blindly following the Western tradition. There is a professor of sociology who coins a concept just to highlight how people of India blindly following Westernization. Can you tell me the concept?
Sir, Westernization, the thing.
Just
Sir,
like
may I relate?
Chronic drunkard take to alcohol, exactly in same manner. Many Western Indian people are taking to Western items. That professor says. His name is Professor Dipankar Gupta. Professor Dipankar Gupta. Can you tell the exact concept he coined?
Sir, I may not be able to recollect the exact thing, but I know the central idea.
That is Westoxication.
Westoxication, exactly.
Westoxication. Okay. Okay. How do you see the difference between Westernization and modernization?
Sir, both of these doctrines are the discourses of the West. Because the Industrial Revolution, because after the Renaissance period, when Weber wrote the Protestant Ethics and Spirit of Capitalism, the world was enlightened with a different view to look at the social aspects of life. The religion was get separated from the public life, and there was an emancipatory quest developed in the people. So by all these virtues, a new society came into being. What is being termed as the Western scholars termed it as modernity. But when the Asian critics of those told that no, that's not a modernity, that is a Westernization. So Westernization and modernization should not be correlated. Rather, they are the same, both the sides of the same coin. That may be both the sides of the same coin. Also, there is a thinker in political science, Will Kimilika. In multicultural perspective, he told that Westernization is not modernization. Rather, modernization should be a discourse which should be developed on the dialogues between different civilizations. The best possible way, the best possible approach would be modernity rather than Westernization.
Okay, Antim. May I know the district do you belong to?
Yes, sir. I am from Cuttack district of Odisha.
Cuttack district. Okay. Suppose you are the collector come district magistrate of Cuttack. What step will you take, being the collector of Cuttack, in matter of bringing substantial development to agriculture of Cuttack district?
Sir, I believe the food security is one of the primary agendas of the state. This food security should be made in such a manner that it should make a holistic approach. The Manrega schemes, some of the government's initiatives like Manrega schemes, the Kisan credit card schemes of the centers, that should be given to the proper beneficiaries, not superficially, although it is given in a good conditions, ideally. But I believe, in my personal opinion, there is a lack of some social audits If we look at the ground report, most of the people would be saying, no, the effect is not being implemented. Apart from the public criticism and media debates and all, I would be looking at the policies that would be definitely reaching the grassroots level of the people. At the same time, value generation, money generation should be the primary agenda of a state, because without money, planning, emphasizing, bureaucracy, everything is just stamped, just allegoric in nature, I believe.
Okay, Antim.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the basic difference between communalism and fundamentalism?
Yes, sir. Sir, communalism is a kind of tension between the two religious groups living in a common society, whereas fundamentalism is ingrained to some of the minds of the people, where they sometimes resort to violent activities in the name of protecting their own religion or cultural values. There is a sense of ethnocentrism in them, so that they define their own religious belief to be superior than others. And those are antithetical to the national integrations and beliefs, I believe.
Okay, Antim. Why India's economy is called democratic socialism? We are a democratic country. We are not a communist country, but why our economy is called democratic socialism?
So because the same has been inspired from Gandhian way of life, where he has given that the village model of economy should be given. Also between, as per my understanding, the gap between communism and socialism, one is the communism is more political orientation and socialism is more of an economic orientation. So the founding fathers of our constitution envisioned such a role that the political bosses, the politics should be accountable to the people by the means of democracy, and the socialism. That means that development should be democratized and should reach a larger section of the people, so that there shouldn't be any polarization of masses with respect to the economic benefits. There should be more of an egalitarian society. So by satisfying both these conditions, we are defined as a democratic and socialistic country.
Antim, obviously the members of a constituent assembly, majority of them were legal dignitaries, obviously having their education in good colleges and universities. They were engaged in writing the Constitution of India. Referring to this situation, even Ivor Jennings says that Constitution of India is the legal paradise, is the paradise of the lawyers. Do you think really a common man who is completely illiterate, unemployed, not able to understand anything except his or her mother tongue, does a common man get anything from Constitution of India?
Sir, I believe when the constitution was drafted, the literacy level and the political consciousness of the people were very less. But we have a very small time to make our own nation from the British clusters. So that was a very tense period when some of our elite societies, the knowledgeable persons, they segregated and drafted the constitution. But I believe after that, we have made a lot of achievements, like inculcating Article 39A, a complete justice, the free justice delivery mechanisms, the NALSA, the giving free justice legal aid to the people, and making e-access to the courts. Sometimes PIL, in most of the cases, PIL can be filed at the zero cost of filing. So looking at all these situations, and from an optimistic point of view, I believe we are reaching the desired values of our constitutional fathers very fast. And by an economic approach, and a good economic approach, and then more educated society, we will definitely reach the situation where every people in the grassroots level, even they will be reaching the judiciary at the affordable and optimum cost.
Antim, how do you see the difference between social exclusion and people excluding themselves from society? I'm repeating it again. Social exclusion versus people excluding themselves from society. Any difference? Do you see?
Yes, sir. I believe social exclusion is a method by which some of the people are unwillingly being discriminated from their own society. Because maybe that's a culture of caste culture, because there is a saying like soil brings caste and a machine brings class. So by this method, like in our earlier Varna systems, some people are being segregated from the mainstream of the society. And that discrimination is antithetical to the fundamental dignity of human rights. But I believe now there is a sense of some people are intentionally secessing out of the of their groups, maybe because due to ideological incoherence. I would rather remember here one thing, that there can be two types of segregations. One can be culture of affluence and culture of scarcity. For the culture of scarcity, some people are trying to get a different direction in their livelihood, and due to culture of affluence, they are thinking that they are superior to their own people, community people. So they will make their life orientations in a different way. So both of these are actually segregating in nature. One is segregating from the system, and second one is segregating from the system by our own.
Okay, wonderful explanation you have given, Antim. Okay, so Antim, can you tell me why Nationalism is growing? Why people, particularly uneducated, young masses, tribal people, Dalit people, they are participating in Nationalism in different parts of our country? What are the main factors responsible for it?
Sir, the central idea behind Nationalism is the propagation of ideology. If we can't stop the ideology, or if we can't make portraiture of such a society where those radical ideas are bad for the society, until people realizes that, it is very much difficult to stop Nationalism. And the second thing is the economic aspect. When people are at a vulnerable state, at the youth age, at a very vulnerable state, those women who are being sexually exploited in the tribal areas, there is a sense of exclusivity in them, and by the virtue of which they can be easily radicalized. They can be read a book, they can be made radicalized by giving some rations to them, and by this method, they can try with an armed ammunition to overthrow the state and will disturb the total balance of the society. So I believe to avoid Nationalism, we have to make two things first. First, the economic development should reach to those sections where they should not be deprived of their basic rights. First, the food, shelter, and clothing, and those educations and healthcare after 70 years of the independence. And the second thing is, in our curriculum also, we should promote some of the liberal discourses in our curriculum, in our way of talking, in educating the teachers of the school, so that whenever they are teaching, in their voices, in their way of articulation, they should more emphasis on a liberal value, so that those school students who are coming out of the school, they will,
Antim,
they will be coming out with liberal values. Yes.
Antim, what about the role of unemployment in matter of growing Nationalism? People are not getting job. People are not able to fulfill but many people are sleeping going to the bed with empty stomach. So unemployment and hunger, these are not the causes for acceleration of Nationalism in our country.
Yes, sir. I believe those takes their roots from the ideas of lack of money, lack of decentralization of development. As Amartya Sen said, that there is a need of a decentralization of development. If we can decentralize the development and can give the basic amenities to those people, sir, I believe even after giving, because there is a phenomenon of urban Naxalites, people with money, they even commit to Naxalisms. So I believe that there are two approaches. One, economic approach. Second is ideological approach. When we can conquer the masses, the minds of the masses, in economic as well as ideological approaches, we can, in a peaceful manner, in a human rights centric manner, decline the effects of the Nationalism.
Okay. Antim.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the difference between yours? Can you tell me exactly what the meaning of urban Nationalism?
Sir, urban nationalism is a term being coined in 2015 and 16, when one of the notable professors of Delhi University was caught by the enforcement authorities for promoting nationalism. Also, in some of the Bollywood movies, the same has been depicted in a movie of Prakash movie. Sir, I believe every mass movement needs a leader, and that leader should have a relations with the foreign or alien countries in both economic and ideological spheres. That urban man who is connecting the vulnerable rural masses with that of an alien foreign power is termed as an urban Naxalite, because he's staying in the urban area, but he's operating from an urban area to the rural areas.
Okay, Antim, I think you are wearing spectacles. Yes or not? Okay, your spectacles consist of lenses. May I know the power of your lenses?
So the left one is minus 0.75. The right one is minus 0.5.
Okay, that means you are suffering from short-sightedness. Okay,
Short-sightedness,
myopia.
yes.
In medical terminology, it's called myopia. Okay,
Yes,
Antim, you see, the politicians of our country and state, they are always focusing their attention on how to get vote. For that purpose, they use caste, they use religion, they use language, they use different types of vivisective mechanism. They don't have any but a vision for the future of the country. Don't you think that they are having myopic vision, like you are suffering from myopia, but they are having myopic vision for our nation?
That's a wonderful question. Sir, I believe I am being inspired from the political science, one of the theorists, where he says that state is the individual's writ large, because state is nothing. State is just our higher magnification. If today I am a citizen, maybe tomorrow I am the prime minister. That's the democratic setup. So it is giving every blame to the political parties. It may be wrong, because in some or other aspects, we are also supporting, some of us are also supporting corruptions. And if they are getting any freebies, they are easily accepting it, but not looking at larger public interests. Also, because a lot of the wrongs can be given to the government, I believe it is the primary responsibility of the government to enlighten the masses what the larger public interest is. So as far as we fortunately got a prime minister of dynamic leadership, I believe the same can be addressed in the near future.
Okay, Antim, a few days ago, I had gone to Mangalore, that is in Karnataka.
Yes, yes, sir.
I stayed there a few days. One day, I saw that entire road was blocked. People were giving slogan. There was a Hindu people were shouting one thing, Muslim people were shouting another thing. And ultimately, I came to know that the main cause of conflict was, particularly the Hindu groups were demanding that the history of India must be rewritten, while Muslim people were saying, no, what has been written in history, that is absolutely right, correct, just, there is no need to change history.
Yes.
What is your personal view in this context? Do you think history of India should be rewritten?
Sir, I believe history should be, history was written, and anytime when the history is being written, it should be more factual. We shouldn't add the context to the history. Also, if we look at the civilizational values of India, it never promotes polarization or domination of any one religion. We believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Sarvadharma Samabhava philosophy. And this is also being mentioned as the basic secularism, as a basic structure of the constitution in the Kesavananda Bharati case by the Honorable Supreme Court. So I believe if some group or some pressure groups or some radical groups are promoting such an idea, that shouldn't be highlighted much in the medias, and there should be a responsibility of media and the government to suppress such ideas. And in my personal opinion, I will never favor such an approach, because this land belongs to every Indian as a citizen first, and the religion to me comes to second.
No, Antim, don't you think that in history certain things have been distorted, certain things have been glorified? For example, you see, if you are preparing for civil service, you must have studied history of modern India. In a chapter, under the chapter that is what revolutionary terrorism, Shahid Bhagat Singh's name has been mentioned. We know that it is an irony that Shahid Bhagat Singh was not a terrorist, while any terrorist, the word terrorist we utter, obviously the image of Osama bin Laden comes to our mind. So how can we compare? How can we equate Shahid Bhagat Singh with Osama bin Laden? Was Bhagat Singh Osama bin Laden, or was he doing like Osama bin Laden? Considering this type of facts mentioned in history, why don't you think that history should not be rewritten?
Sir, I believe history should be amended. That shouldn't be rewritten like the constitution. The basic ideas of the history shouldn't be rewritten. And I believe as per the language, the etymological aspects of language, if the meaning, the inherent meaning of a word changes according to the ages and perspectives. Because terrorism and revolutionary, those are not words. One is more value-loaded term, one is value-less term. One shows one to be a hero, one shows another to be a villain. But villain and hero both are never neutral persons. They are extremes from the mainstream society. So I believe when there is a larger public interest is saying, larger amount of public is saying, this word is making a derogatory to us, and this word should be amended. I believe in personal capacity that there is no hesitation. The words can be changed because saying Bhagat Singh as a revolutionary will never dampen his identity. Rather, it will more glorify him that he has given his blood for the society. Also, it is applicable to the all societies, all communities.
Okay, Antim, what is the
Yes, sir.
fundamental difference between Hindutva and Hinduism?
Sir, Hinduism is the religious philosophy, the religion belonging to the Sanatana Dharma. The people of Sanatana Dharma, they call themselves as Hindus. And by that means, whenever somebody is writing the form, he is writing his religion as Hinduism. But Hindutva, I believe, is a personal radical choice, because if I am a Hindu, I may go to a temple. If a third person will say that, okay, he's going to a temple, he's a Hindu. But if I will incline towards Hindutva, I will be rallying, I will tie some of the colors, some of the biased colors in my hands, I will sloganeering in some of the aspects of the life. So I believe Hindutva is more of a radical and extreme ideas to promote the own religious beliefs, rather than Hinduism is nothing wrong, because Hinduism shows that I belong to such a religion which has an origin in the past.
Okay, Antim, suppose you are collector of a district. Being the collector of a district, what measure will you take in the matter of stopping the dropout rate of the students, dropout rates of our children in the primary educational institution, primary schools?
Sir, I believe, in my personal opinion, because I also read from a vernacular medium school, I also went to some of the top universities of India. I believe, sir, there is when a person is not coming to the class, you cannot just giving them incentives like midday meal scheme or the chocolates or bicycles. Okay, these are good. These are public amenities should be given. The inherent quality of the teacher, that should be developed. If a teacher is good, people are ought to come, because if we can look at the scenario, there are some famous teachers in around us in some of the coaching institutes are there, because people in a queue, they are approaching them. Sir, please make us, please guide us, please guide us. Because I have also done the same. I have also bunked some of the classes in schools because of the lack of interest. But when I got a good opportunity, good quality of teacher, I automatically go to the institutions. I automatically love the chapter. That is one of the aspects. That is one of the aspects when the basic aspects are being covered up. That means I have the food, I have the bicycle, I have a good house, then interest. So if basic amenities is lacking, we should give it in terms of midday meal scheme, giving cycles, or the second aspect is quality educations by the teachers, empowering good teachers.
Okay. Can you tell me what are the problems of agriculture in Odisha?
So Odisha being an agrarian society, it contributes around, it's around 75 to 80% of people in Odisha are belonging to agriculture. But if we look at other agriculture, I believe, sir, I will take an example of some of the YouTube videos I watch, because I write a lot of things about in my blog. I've seen there are so many mechanizations in Bengaluru, the South Indian areas in the agriculture. But whenever I personally roam a lot of areas around Odisha, apart from the government data, what I see in my social audit, in my eyes, that those are not mechanized. Agriculture is not being seen as a elitist, as a good profession, because they are the annadata of the society, but nobody gives them recognition, just because there is a lack of automation, lack of incentives, lack of their basic amenities. Maybe the government policy is just giving them, okay, take these benefits, yeah, we will give the MSP to you. But if that will be in a holistic approach, the cluster-based development approach, the farmers' agricultural organizations, this will make the whole ecosystem in a more collaborative and value-centric way. I believe agriculture, day by day, we can, sir, I will just want to quote one thing, that nowadays some of my friends who are from technical background, they are also doing organic farming because they know the expertise. So giving expertise and money can make the agriculture more efficient and resilient.
Can you suggest me a better approach to bring development to our state, Odisha?
Sir, what I personally feel is Odisha is somehow lacking in industrial capacity because we have coastline, we have the major national highway 16 passing, we have railway connections. But sir, I will give some of the suggestions like the recent government initiatives of making Odisha conclave, which will be held in every 2 years. Maybe somehow in my personal capacity, I am feeling that yes, we are making the meetings, we are calling the conferences, we are doing everything as per the procedures. But when everybody is just going around, the meeting is everybody is disappearing. The implementation aspect is not that much efficient in my personal views. So I believe, sir, first of all, I will give an emphasis to the industrialization, education, and healthcare. After this, everything can be easily done.
Okay, Antim.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me in a very precise way the difference between culture of poverty and poverty of culture? Culture of poverty
Okay, sir.
versus poverty of culture.
So the culture of poverty, I believe, is somehow being inspired from the people who are living below poverty line, because they are the people who are unable to satisfy being their basic amenities. So their way of life, their educational attainment, their cognition, that becomes deficient. If one will be talking to them, one can easily know that they are lacking some of the basic amenities, basic skills, basic cognitive abilities, ways of talking. On the other aspect, the second aspect is pardon me, sir, the second one was the lack of culture. Yes, sir. The lack of culture, in the lack of culture aspects, due to the new imperial attitude, due to the westernization of India or the westernization of any country, people are getting more inclined towards Western ideas. As there is a saying that democracy is seductive. One of the thinkers, Joseph Nye, once said that democracy is seductive. So in that seduction capacity, people are more inclined towards living their own culture and going to another culture. So in both the aspects, one is defining poverty and another is defining richness, affluence. And both are deviating from the mean.
Okay, Antim, if you are not selected this time, what would be your response?
Yes, sir. Sir, as I have spent already 3.5 years in bureaucracy, also I have a strong technocratic career in my life. I will be devoting one or more two attempts in my bureaucratic career. If I will be unable, I will happily switch to my bureaucratic career and will serve the country as a bureaucrat to satisfy larger interests.
Let me ask the last question, because time is also approaching to wind up.
Yes, sir.
What is the contribution of Dayananda Saraswati for India?
So Dayananda Saraswati was also called Muknayak, who has given a nationalistic and cultural revivalistic approach to history. One's famous line of him, he was "Go back to Vedas." That means whenever he saw that our Vedic culture, our society is coming under Western influences and getting diverted from what it ought to be, he again alarmed the people that no, we are not what we are taught right now. We are what our civilizational values in the purest form was. So India is a nation with culture. We should abide to the culture. We may accept some of the aspects of Western, but we shouldn't blindly follow the Western approaches. So he was a cultural revivalistic man.
Okay, Antim, wish you all the best. Let me wind up the interview. It's already time. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.